Welcome back to Momentum versus Trust Part 2 with our guest, dating coach Laurie Gerber. If you missed part 1, here's the highlight reel. Laurie brings a woman's perspective, trust, conversation building through messaging, and safety. I come in with a man's perspective on this momentum, practicality combined with some lessons learned over several years of online dating from a street point of view. And now it's time for the debate that every midlife dater runs into. You move things too fast and it feels pushy. If you move things too slow, interest begins to wane as human nature can take over, as you end up competing with new matches that enter the picture on a daily basis, and in some cases on an hourly basis. So today, in part 2, we're going to be getting into some of the brass tacks on the numbers game. Laurie and I discussed the numbers game on this. How many messages back and forth you should be going through on the dating apps. We debate that. What women perceive when a guy moves too fast and how to find the sweet spot where you keep momentum going and yet build trust at the same time without turning dating into a second career. So let's jump in. Well, when we talk about speed or fast, here's what I've learned and discovered through time, and
Right.
that's
You've been on the court. I haven't. So you bring an expertise. You do.
it's yeah, from a street point of view, I guess. What I've learned is whether it would be a legacy website or whether it would be a dating app, and you involve human nature. I remember like utilizing Match and like Plenty of Fish, for example, or eHarmony in not so much in the older days, but women would be besieged with like 10 messages a day. And the biggest hurdle that us guys would have to overcome is first off getting their attention. And it's hard to get their attention when they're getting 10, 20, or 30 messages per day. And the same prevails human nature. And so how does a woman sort all those out, with especially if she's being besieged by that? And go ahead. Go ahead.
You have great photos, is how you get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
You speak specifically to her and her profile. You do not push or pressure. You play it cool, but you engage in a consistent way. And then you wait until the besiegement stops, because it does stop.
Well, I would disagree to an extent in that if the woman or the guy too, either way, if they learn to pause their apps or stop new stuff coming in, then they can focus and concentrate on matches. And that's what I do. If I have some matches and I match up with them, I pause my dating app
Right.
and I focus
Yes,
on those
I like
people.
that.
But that's not what I've found a lot of people do. What a
Okay,
lot of
but it
folks
doesn't
do.
matter what a lot of people do. It matters
Yes.
what the girls who think your pictures are cute do. It doesn't matter what a lot of people do.
Yeah, some of them, but I'm nudging in the numbers again.
I
I move
know.
it into a numbers aspect,
You're
and
right.
mhm.
You're right that women have a slight advantage over men on the dating apps. But the bottom line is, and sites, we're all screwed on the dating sites and apps. It's a terrible, terrible thing.
Yes,
But
it
if
is. I
we
agree.
want
Yeah.
to use it for our advantage, then you can't keep thinking about all the ways it doesn't work. You have to think about the ways that it does.
Oh, exactly. Fully agreed, and that's why I've adapted. I've adapted what I can do because I know things move fast. I've
Right.
adapted to try and get the attention. Now, I can. I've learned how to do that. I can do that. That's pretty easy to do.
Right.
Get the attention, start the conversation. But I do know I'm competing. It would be great if a lot of the gals out there were listening to what you were saying and
I'm
they could
trying. I'm
pause and
trying, Bo.
stop and yeah,
I'm trying.
and you could get a conversation going with them. But the reality that I've faced is that's difficult to do. So what us guys
Right.
have to do is whatever we can do to first get the attention, and that's why I go to like 3 messages, no more than that, and I want to go to the phone call. Well, phone call or the
Okay.
call. Okay, yeah, I don't want to
Okay.
misrepresent that. But because human nature again comes in where they're still getting more matches. Most of them are
Well,
not
okay. I'm
not
just
pausing
saying, if
things.
you are eliminating people after 3 messages, I get why you're doing it, right? You're doing it to
Mm-hmm.
save your time to get more people into your pipeline. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying, you're also probably losing some potentials by moving them out too fast. So if you decide if you want lots and lots of new, or you want to like really give a chance to what's in your pipeline, I see why your strategy might be equal to mine,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not like how much you're thinking about your odds versus that if you believe your woman is in the next batch, she is. Or like you got to go in with the attitude that like she's there and she wants to get to know you, and give her a minute. Like just give her a week, right? Like I'm not asking you for 100 messages. I'm asking you for 10 to 20 messages, not 3. Because
Mm-hmm.
a guy who's asking to see you, talk to you, meet you, get your information after 3 messages, we think you just want sex. And I know that's not what you want, but that's what we think. Or that you're only looking at our picture.
Understood, but I would say that a lot of when you start a conversation, how you are starting it, most men are very superficial in how they start a conversation.
Not you.
I've learned how to start a conversation.
Yes.
I utilize question answer statement. I can ask a question, they give me an answer, I make a statement, and then I can start the cycle over again, which they they hear and they understand that I've actually listened to what they've said. I've made a
Right.
comment on
Beautiful.
it,
Great.
and that's what I tell guys and gals that I've talked to is utilize question answer statement to show that there's some depth there. But
Right.
I'm still a guy in some aspects that the baby boomer in me in getting to the date. It all comes back
I
to
understand.
I want to get to the date. I want to meet face to
I
face.
understand.
And
That's desperation she can smell, and it turns her off. And I am not poo-pooing your desire or your
mhm.
purpose, just your tactic. Because I get why you have your tactic and you are in your own mind right. However, like your system engineering wise works. You have a goal, you have a plan, you execute. I'm just saying the psychology of a woman is working against you getting the result you want.
Well, great point. Great point,
Thanks.
Laurie. But one of the things that I've discovered in this is when I've gotten to the phone call, and again, I don't rush through things. This is a calibrated, time sensitive approach. Okay. I move things forward, but, and I do it a day at a time. I exchange one message per day. I'm not doing all 3 of them one day and then pushing them to get to a phone call and a meetup all within, this could all take place in a week. And I'm un, and I have a lot of competition. And one of the things that I've calibrated it this way is so many women that I've talked to in the past over the years have said, Paul, thank you for asking me to meet up. Thank you for moving this along.
Oh yeah.
I've talked
We
to these other,
agree on that, Paul. We agree on that. I just want there to be 20 messages, not 3. That's the only thing we're disagreeing on.
well, and so yeah, when it comes to a lot of messaging like that, I did that for a while, and there were several coworkers that were in my age group. We compared notes. Many of them were very, very good at writing, and a lot of them turned into therapy sessions. I know we've talked about that,
Oh
where
my
you're
God,
going back and
Paul.
forth, and so
I'm
I
glad you
stay
bring
away
that
from
up.
that.
Yeah, but again, it's like you're using the exception to prove my rule. Like, of course not a therapy session. Of course
Yes,
not.
but the comment I've gotten so many times is, Paul, thank you for asking. Most of these guys just want to text back and forth and they just want a
Okay,
message.
is your obviously you care about specifying a winning strategy.
Hmm.
Is your strategy winning for the goal of meeting the love of your life?
It's meeting. Okay, so it's meeting the goal to actually getting in front of people. I would say it took me a long time to learn how to make it work. as far as the gal that I am
So you're
looking for.
getting enough first dates for your taste
Oh,
using
easily.
this
That's
strategy.
yeah,
Okay,
easily
great.
there. Now the what it needs to be calibrated, and one things I do need to work on is, and this has only taken place in the last couple of years, is truly understanding what I'm looking for.
Right.
And that is a woman that is associated with personal growth. Personal growth has to be something that she embraces. And that is so hard to find. It
Oh
really
my God.
is. Yes.
As a
Well,
woman who works with only women who pursue personal growth, I am taking umbrage. But let's wrap this conversation up. Let me just say, your strategy has worked for what you wanted. You wanted a bunch of live dates. You got it, right? You are an engineer. You gamed the system. You figured it out. You got your live dates. Let's now say that that is a retired strategy because that is actually not the strategy to finding the love of your life. Maybe you don't want to find the love of your life. Maybe you really do just want to go on a lot of first dates.
no, I'm
Okay.
exhausted. Continue.
Okay, great. So then let's refine the strategy because, and we have to take this to another conversation, but let's just say you actually are getting a lot of first dates with not the right women. So stop trying to get a lot of first dates.
Yes. Well, there was with the wrong ones, but I've been able to recalibrate and refocus through conversation. I can pick a lot of those out through conversation on the call or the video call that you would
Well,
prefer.
I'm saying pick it out over text now before
Okay.
you even waste your time on the video chat. Go right from 1 to 2 weeks of texting about personal growth. Obviously, look for it in the profile too, because it's there. Then go to a video chat where you further pursue their interest in personal growth and attraction and see if it heats up. And only go on first dates with somebody who meets your head, heart, and hoo-ha criteria. You're attracted, you feel safe, they feel safe, and you think that you have an equal love of personal growth. That's your deal breaker. For some people, it's alcohol. For some people, it's pot. For some people, it's politics. For some people, it's height. Yours is personal growth. Cool. We really can eliminate people. And I would prefer you go on one date a month than one date a week, as long as it's with a woman who likes personal growth. Okay. And then I would then put you in courses, right? I would put you on the cruises, the courses, the places where the personal growth people do it, right? What's your favorite personal growth? What do you like?
Learning new things. That's what keeps me sharp.
Anything? I mean,
A
there's
lot of
so much
things.
good
Yep.
personal growth, and you're in
Yep.
California. I mean, it's like it's on every corner. Okay, so then that's where you should be hanging out with all your hanging out time. Is you should just be hanging out at the Kabbalah Center, the Meditation Center, the Landmark Education, the whatever, the wherever the latest gurus are teaching the boomers and the Gen Xers.
All right, let me back up a little bit. And you're talking about messaging, and so if you're texting back and forth, and it gets more difficult for me trying to text because with the two thumb method versus the keyboard, getting in front of a desktop makes it easier.
No
How
kidding.
how long what do you recommend to your clients when you're messaging? How long should these messages be when you're going back and forth?
If you like the person, if the head, heart, and hoo-ha are happy with the profile, 6 or above on a scale of 1 to 10, you can spend your whole entire half an hour of that day on texting with one person if you like them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to interrupt your life. I don't want it to become an addiction. I want you to get to know this person. And I'm having my people go by their chart of questions, get your questions answered to eliminate the person in the text banter back and forth and sense their interests and sense their humor, and you're getting to know a person, and you're also eliminating people that have deal breakers for you in this text back and forth. So I don't care how long you spend. I wouldn't spend more than a half an hour texting an individual person, but I wouldn't do one. That's weird to me. Like, oh, you're going to text me once a day. I'm being breadcrumbed now, right? Like, what are you doing? Are you texting 100 other women? Are you like putting me in a cage? Like, what are you doing? So I would try to develop real relationships with people over text. As flawed as that is, I would try to create a real relationship. And I'm watching my women do this. I do it with them. You can, with the right person.
All right. So on a counterpoint to that, and one of the, and I hear what you're saying. one of the things that I've discovered that many people have discovered when it comes to texting or messaging, and that is what I call foot and mouth disease. And that's where it's really easy to say the wrong thing at this period of time. It's easy to be misunderstood because when you're texting back and forth or messaging back and forth, you're only getting about 10% of the communication. We're missing body language and we're missing tonality.
Great point. Great
And
point.
and
Great
so
point.
and that's what concerns me, and that's why I've calibrated things more. I do 3 sentences, and if it's a dating app, there isn't a lot. And my goal in a few messages back and forth is just gather enough information besides what's in their profile and what I can start from the conversation on the texting part to actually start. It comes back to the boomer in me. I want to talk. I want to hear the tonality. I know if we
Right.
get to the phone call or just the call, or if we get to the video chat, now you've got tonality in there, but we still don't
Love
have
that.
body language. I mean, you get to see some of the facial expressions, which is
Are you?
again
Yeah.
why I wanna move to meeting face to face.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
against your desire to move to face to face. I only want you to do it with women who are into personal growth
Hmm.
and into you. Right. That's so we're on the same exact page, except for who I want you to go on those dates with. Okay.
Hmm.
So in your little 3 messages back and forth, are you talking about personal growth or not? Your most important value.
It depends on a lot of it depends on what I read in the profile, what they're doing. If it, a lot of it can be things just general. So many people don't put things in their profiles to start conversations. Is one of the more difficult ones to
Don't
do.
get me started, though. True.
and
Profiles suck.
and so
Agreed.
I focus on profiles where there's conversation starters in there. I run across so many that the gal will have 4 pictures or 5 pictures of herself in portrait, full body, whatnot, but there's really nothing remarkable in the background. Maybe you can comment that her fingernails are the same color as the dress. There would be a commentary thing there. But a lot of times they don't put anything. Or I like walks on the beach and sunsets. They put
Don't
yeah,
comment on a woman's appearance.
I don't
Don't
yeah,
comment on a woman's appearance if you're looking for long-term committed.
yeah.
Don't. I'm sorry. You just give me so many things to say. Paul, we have to wrap up. Let's do this again. And let's talk about your profile pictures. Let's talk about your profile. Let's talk about the messaging back and forth that you're doing and really analyze if it's working or not. And let's talk about how you bring up your most important value of personal growth really early before you waste time on paying for someone's dinner.
Well, that's why I focus on coffee dates or meeting for a drink over appetizers. Is the
You
way
always
I
have an answer for everything I say. I hope you
and
got my
and
point.
yes, I did. And just so to be upfront here too, I don't comment like how great a woman looks or anything like that when I'm messaging back and forth on the dating app.
Great,
I want to
because
create a conversation
great,
on if they're hiking, where do they hike at? What if
right,
I've
right.
taken formal dancing lessons. Have they if they mention they like dancing, I ask, have you ever taken any formal lessons? I'm trying to create a conversation is what that is.
You are 99% of the way there and 100% better than any other man I've ever spoken to, but I still want to get you the result,
Okay.
right? Like,
Yes.
and I'm glad you clarified that, because men are listening to you taking your advice, and I don't want them complimenting fingernails and dresses on the apps. If they're looking for serious long term, if they're looking for hookup, rock and roll, do that,
Mhm.
right? And a gal who is looking to hook up might respond, right? So it's where every word we say is communicating something. How we say it, when we say it, how often we say it, all of that it's a vibe, it's an energetic, it's an exchange, and it matters. So I'm glad we cleared that up, and so
Okay.
many other things, we
Yes.
cleared up today.
All right, Laurie, why don't you go into a little more detail about how the listeners can learn more about what you do and your
Oh,
podcast, your website? Just give us a
yeah.
description there,
If
please.
you like my zero fluff, no BS, in your face, obnoxious, bossy coaching, you should listen to me On my podcast, Love at Any Age, which is available through Podbean, Spotify, Apple, and most especially because then you can watch my hand gestures and my facial expressions on YouTube. Laurie Gerber Coach. Laurie Gerber Coach. Love at Any Age is the podcast. LaurieGerber.com is the website. Please come play.
All right, Laurie, thanks for being here, and I look forward to our discussion next time.
Ditto.
All right, we just finished part 2 of momentum versus trust, and if you're thinking, wow, I've done both extremes, you're not alone. Here's what we covered. Dating apps are a numbers game, but you can't play it like a robot. We also talked about how to get noticed the right way, strong photos, speaking to the dating profile, consistency, and on top of that, we got a better idea from a woman's perspective what too much pressure starts to look like, even when your intentions are totally legit. The big takeaway? Well, the goal isn't more dates, it's better dates. Moving forward in a way that feels safe, grounded, and intentional, all while maintaining momentum. Okay, guys and gals, it's been fun, and I look forward to being with you on the next episode to take your dating experience from a bust to a best, and that's a really good place to be.